and welcome to our latest episode of Did You Know? And today I am joined by the lovely and beautiful Miss Ingrid Galloway. Ingrid is the founder and, get this, the Chief Relaxation Officer of Kahyangan. Did I get that right, Ingrid?
Yes, you did.
Beautiful. She has been a relationship coach for 13 years and a spa therapist for 23 years. Her work has always focused on stress, relaxation, and relationships. And she completely understands the importance of healing from past traumas and strengthening relationships with self and your intimate partner. She does one-on-one coaching sessions, group online couple massage lessons, which sounds divine, and retreats for stressed people, broken-hearted singles, and loving couples. She is a finalist in the BX Business Excellence Awards. Congratulations, Ingrid, for coaching businesses in 2021. So I am so delighted that she has said yes to coming on and chatting with me today, because I think she's got a lot to offer. For all of us who are going through that period in our relationships where, you know, it could be separation, it could be divorce, or we could just be in general having a bit of a crappy time. The environment that we found ourselves in hasn't always been supportive of making sure that our relationships are healthy and fantastic. So thank you so much for coming on and helping us get through to the other side, Ingrid. It's really nice to chat to you today.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for requesting me.
Ingrid, I think, you know, we can all say that COVID has put a layer on all of our relationships with that added stress, the uncertainty. You know, we're a little bit more agitated than usual. We don't know what's happening, and we can struggle to find the balance in how we communicate and how we fulfill each other's needs.
Yes,
In a harmonious ways.
absolutely.
So tell us, in terms of, you know, how you would see people getting through this, what do you think people should be looking out for?
Acceptance will be the first thing that come to mind because change is inevitable. So accept that change will be thrown upon you from time to time that is outside your control, like COVID pandemic, for example. We can't control that. And it's a sudden change, maybe a change to your level of income or the level of your living condition, where you can and cannot work, lockdown. Who doesn't like lockdown? I'm just being sarcastic. So yeah, acceptance. If we take a long time to accept that things have changed, then we will put more misery upon ourselves.
And
So
that acceptance there, it really has, I mean, if you don't have the acceptance with the change, it can create a lot of anger. And, you know, if it could also be guilt or shame in terms of, you know, you're losing your job, you've lost an income stream, you might not be able to provide for your family, and that might be something that's really important for you as well. And so I think, or do you agree that you need to work through that?
Acceptance and embrace. I guess this is the word, word that is used too much during lockdown 2020 is pivot. I rarely use that word, but I'm just borrowing that word simply because that is part of embracing, accepting and embracing the change in specific to COVID lockdown. So if you, for example, working full time for a company and you got made redundant because of the situation, and you just have to think on your feet. You have to pivot to something else, maybe creating your own business or moving somewhere with your family, hence bringing a bit more peace in your day-to-day life.
But let's say it doesn't just relate to COVID, right? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of situations that people find themselves in that, for whatever reason, you know, they feel angry, they
Mm,
get that guilt, they get that shame.
mm, mm,
And to work through that without blame,
mm.
which is something that I come across a lot, is that for the couples I'm working with, it's their fault.
Yep.
It's if only they didn't do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blame in that anger, in that guilt, in that shame, which to me is quite often our egos coming out.
That's right. Yes, we're only human, right? So,
Yep.
of course, we are full of egos, and sometimes it plays out. Our partner that we have at a time can be our absolute mirror. They can trigger us big time because guess what? We need to learn from that exact behavior because they're mirroring us, right? Oh, it hurts because it's true. And
It
so,
is. Yep.
yes, they're just mirroring us, right? So let me just compartmentalize a little bit of the anger and shame and guilt. But let me start with pointing and blaming, right? It is the easiest fallback mechanism that we have,
Mm-hmm.
pointing and blaming other people simply because we don't want to be responsible for our own actions. So the easiest way to do is to point and blame our partner. Easy. But it hurts not just them, but also yourself and the kids if you have kids, right? Now, let me cover about anger. Anger is the easiest emotion that we can show other people. Say, typically men, sorry men, I'm generalizing here, not all men are like this, but generally speaking, men having difficulties in expressing emotion, but the easiest emotion that they can express is anger because probably that's their conditioning. Their father like that, their grandfather is like that.
Yep.
So it's just the easiest emotion to express, and us women just don't like that. I mean, who likes to receive anger, right? And anger unfortunately kills healthy cells in our bodies. So we need to question ourselves, is it worth it to keep being angry to either a situation or our partner? The next one that I would like to cover is shame. Now, shame is one of the great unspoken word in the world. So, one of the great unspoken word in the world. It's about feeling wrong, not good enough. You feel numb, wanting to hide, disappear, and even cease to exist. And unfortunately, shame correlated to violence, addiction, aggression, eating disorder, bullying, even suicide. That's the worst outcome of shame, right? So be careful if we keep using shame as a tool of oppression, as a tool of parenting, for example. The energy, it's belittling, humiliating, dehumanizing the recipient of that,
Yep.
right? So shame doesn't just destroy the victim, but be careful, it also destroys the person who uses it. Now, guilt is different. Say, for example, you did a bad thing, but you're not a bad person. So, if you can differentiate the difference between guilt and shame. So, guilt is yes, you did a bad thing, but you're not a bad person. You feel guilty. Oh, yes, I did this to my partner. I feel bad about it, but you're not a bad person. So if you have been angry and projecting shame and guilt to your partner or ex-partner, just remember you are on your way to destroying healthy cells in your own body. So my big question is it worth it?
Yeah. What's your priority? Is it important to you? Is your own health important to you that way?
Yeah.
And we don't often think like that.
No.
And to be fair, I don't know that many of us would actually stop and think when we're in the midst of that conflict or even afterwards, you know, were we actually blaming? Were we angry? Were we, well, most of the time we can acknowledge that we were angry, but, you know, did we use guilt? Did we use shame? And it's something that I know when you do work with people, to be able to step back and for them to see what actions that they've created and to be aware of how they actually fight is huge.
Yes. That's why it's so useful to have your service mediating the two parties fighting with each other. Yeah, or in my, and when, before people actually decide to separate, sometimes they bicker as a relationship coach. And so, how I can be the referee in the middle, seeing that, oh, actually, hang on a minute, you want the same thing, you just communicate differently. So, I deliver, okay, giving the understanding that, okay, this is what you have done, this is what you have done, and can you possibly come together in the middle because you actually want the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And that comes down to listening too, doesn't it? Being able to listen and not just listen for what the other person is saying,
Yeah.
but the message that comes in underneath all of that.
Yes.
Which is a really powerful tool. But how often do people think that they're better listeners than what they actually are?
We normally listen to respond or react. Yes, no. We need to learn active listening. Yes, we just go deeper, not just like, oh, yeah, you forgot to put the toilet seat down the other day. It's like, far out, you did this the other day. No. You just
and then we go back to blame.
Oh, cool.
It's like a cycle, isn't it? It just doesn't you're constantly moving around and around and around.
Yeah.
And you've got to make the active choice to get off the merry-go-round.
Exactly. Yes, because you don't deserve healthy cells being killed in your body.
So how is it that people can, or what strategies can you give people to help overcome that anger, that shame, that guilt, and to stop or to get off the merry-go-round?
Yeah. Number one is to focus on yourself, nurture yourself first. In my new book, Reclaim Your Inner Goddess, I cover the area of sacral chakra, and I suggest a couple of tips in rebalancing your sacral chakra. For example, number one, soak your feet in foot spa or the whole body in a bath because the element of sacral chakra is water. Number two, sprinkle essential oils such as orange or rose and breathe in deeply and breathe out slowly. And number three, say affirmations such as, I am confident about my body and looks. Because typically if people are feeling imbalance in the sacral chakra area, they may feel insecure, having low self-esteem, experience sexual repression or addiction, feeling jealous often or acting dramatic often, right? So those just the telltale sign. And saying affirmations such as, I honor and express my sexuality, I treat others with respect, so it becomes true to them, that they embody it. So number one is focus on yourself first. Once you are balanced in your own self and you are well, then you can express better.
Yep.
No longer being angry. Number two is say gratitude for yourself and for your partner, even though your partner pisses you off a lot. Because who would love to hear point and blame non-stop? They feel really bad, they get angrier, but then if we change completely, say, oh, actually, thank you so much for looking after our kids when I couldn't be there. Thank you. But from your heart, they will change. Their heart will gently melt and meet in the middle.
Yep. And it doesn't, I think it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
That melting process. And often people can expect that they've done a good thing, they've said something nice, and so automatically the other person should reciprocate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen that way.
It's a process. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Journey.
Yeah.
Yes. Be patient. However, in the end, who is looking to kill each other and not affecting, especially if you have kids, not affecting the kids? You know, if you say that, oh, I'm staying in this marriage for the sake of the kids, look at what you're doing whilst you're separating or in the process of
Yeah.
separation. Are you killing the kids because you're not being kind to each other? Even though, yeah, he pissed you off, she pissed you off big time. But how you communicate with each other will affect your kids if you're not being kind to each other. You know, saying gratitude is not that difficult. Just thank you one time you actually pick me up from work, for example. Even simple things like that, but find things to say gratitude about.
Yeah. That is so, so, so important. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
Can I go back to one of the other tips you gave before, which was affirmations?
Mm,
Um, because I feel like there will be people out there who the world of affirmations is very new to them.
yeah.
And it's something that I know I struggled with when I first learned about affirmations. And
Yeah.
so I suppose what I want to um, get your help with is when people are standing there and they're saying, I love my body, I'm
Yeah.
grateful for my body, all of that. You can be standing there saying that. And at the same time, in your head, you got this little voice going off, going, well, that's bullshit. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Or yeah, right. Try the next one. And so you've got that internal dialogue that's not matching what you think you should be doing. And so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So how do you help people overcome that?
Yeah. Look at this like you are entering a weightlifting competition. To begin with, you have no muscles. You can only lift 10 kilos max. And then, how can you lift 75 kilos in the end and go compete? It takes time. So, with repetition, and we build that extra muscle build a new neural pathway in our brain that eventually over time we believe it and it becomes reality. I don't have a body of a supermodel. No, I don't. But I love my body. I can walk, I give birth, I produce 2 kids, you know. It's awesome. Right? Do I have aches and pains? I do. But I am grateful that I have this body, you know, and not a body of, for example, someone in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
For example, like, I'm grateful, thank you for this body, even though it doesn't look like a supermodel. And say, for example, with the affirmation, I treat others with respect. If you have been such an angry person for a long period of time, then start with that. You know, I treat others with respect. I treat others with respect. So when we repeat that over and over again and we catch ourselves awareness, we have awareness that, oh shit, okay, I say nasty thing about that person. Let me change that, and then we can start apologizing, right? Oh, sorry. Let me repeat that again, and then you say something nicer instead of being nasty to that person, because we remember. Oh yeah, I've been saying this every morning. I treat others with respect. I treat others with respect, and then our bodies just embody it over time. We can't
Yep.
help not to.
Yep. And eventually over time, when you get to that point of picking up and becoming aware of what you're actually saying,
Mm,
and you can say, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that, let me
mm,
say it again, or let me repeat
mm.
myself, or rephrase that a different way. you're then not only showing, I suppose, respect to the other person,
Yeah,
but you're also showing some self-awareness and some insight.
exactly. EQ doesn't come in 5 minutes. In dating world, oh, I come across this a lot because a lot of people complain to me. It's like, oh my God, Ingrid, I'm going out there, putting myself out there, but the amount of people that cannot say anything else past hello, it's like, where is the intelligence here? they look hot, but they can't say anything decent.
What a nightmare that would be. What an absolute nightmare. So, Ingrid, what I wanted to wrap up, just as we're wrapping up, I know that you have said to me that you have this really special offer for people who are listening today. So, do you want to explain what that is? Because I want to make sure people do get a chance to jump on.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you decide, let's have a chat. And if you decide to embrace my coaching package, one-on-one coaching package, maybe couple per house diamond package, or diamond coaching package, or even online couple massage lesson, then I will give you rebalance your sacral chakra session. So valued at $150. So it's 1 hour coaching session specific to rebalance your sacral chakra, because this is my area of expertise. So you can love yourself, and as I mentioned earlier in a couple of my tips, you will be able to connect with your well-being, and also become less angry and happier, receive more pleasure in your life.
Yeah. And I think in a chat that you and I were having a little while ago, you summed it up really nicely in that you have to love yourself first before you can start really loving other people.
Absolutely. Yes. So the rebalance your sacral chakra session will be focusing on that.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, for people who want to find Ingrid, you can see behind her that she has her website, kahyangan.com.au. So that's Kahyangan. For those of you who cannot understand my pronunciation, I do apologize. And she has her mobile number there to contact her as well. But I will put all the details of that below, like I usually do for these interviews. Can I just say thank you so much, Ingrid, for coming along and joining me today? It's been an absolute pleasure having a chat with you. I always do love having chats with you and learning more about how we can help couples.
Thanks a million. Hopefully I add value to your podcast.
Very much so. Thank you so much, Ingrid. And for everyone else, I will catch you next time. Bye for now.